tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Thursday. That means we are back for Mary Mary After Show. Woo woo! And I got my boy Lem with me. I love it. I'm your host, Ashida Onrae. You can find me on Twitter at Ashida Onrae. And Lem, where can they find you?
You can find me at The Poet Saint, and that's on Twitter and Instagram all day, every day.
I love it. I love it. So be sure to tweet us. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your thoughts. I'm loving what you guys are doing on YouTube. I read every single comment. There's so many mixed comments, and I'm loving it. And I'm going to talk about that later on tonight. But let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Teddy and Tina.
Teddy and Tina.
Teddy and Tina. And what's up with, well, I didn't talk about this, you know, the last time where I had Big Daddy Phil on.
Right.
Right. So what's up with the car?
You know,
I totally forgot to talk about that last episode.
I remember, you know, I watched the episode and I'm looking and he pulls the, you know, the drape over the car. And I thought he got into an accident. That's what I first, you know, my first thing was like, oh, he got into an accident. Oh, you know, glad he's okay. And then he starts talking about how, you know, Tina thought he was driving, you know, with someone in the car, and she got upset and was just over it, and then basically tow up the car. And so I'm just like, it looked like bullet holes.
It did look like bullet holes.
It looked like she might have shot it up. I mean, you know, she is from Compton, and so
was it Inglewood or Compton?
Inglewood, yeah, Inglewood. So I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, but I was really shocked to kind of see that and see that she was the one that did that.
I'm not shocked because of how she is. I'm shocked now to the woman that she's become. I'm like, I'm just, she's come so far.
Oh, you mean like how she's come full circle?
Right, overall, from the time that they showed the car in the first episode up until now. And I'm sitting there like, wow, she's come a long way. Right. You know, and it shows Teddy's going out there to buy the ring for her, and
which she smashed.
Which
also.
she's, well, the first one she smashed. Right.
Well, no, she had 2 rings.
Oh, right.
She had one that she kind of threw away, and then there's one because he didn't think, he's like, diamonds can smash up. Like,
if you're mad enough, they can.
Yeah, a hammer can smash a diamond, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. So, yeah, he's going to buy another ring for her.
Which I was hoping to see the proposal. I was hoping to see that whole moment, but all we saw was her just do this, and you just see how big the ring is. And I said, okay, all right, Teddy, you did a good job. Right. You know.
Absolutely.
I ain't mad. I ain't mad. But here's the thing. So, and I want your guys' thoughts on this as well. Tina is talking to Warren about, you know, her new book, her new life, all these ideas that she has coming, but she doesn't care what Sony says.
No, and again, for those of you that have, you know, watched the show, I think, what season are we in? The 3rd or 4th season? Fourth season? Okay.
Episode 2.
And this, Tina has kind of been this way.
Yes.
One thing about Tina is, and that can see, again, going back to the whole car situation and how she's handled, you know, the whole Teddy infidelities and everything, she wants to do what she wants to do. You know what I'm saying? And when she gets something stuck in her head and stuck in her mind, she wants to do that. And this is something, and like how she was talking to Warren, and I knew that when he came back later in the episode and he was like, yeah, Sony was like, probably not a good idea. She's like, well, let's fight that in the courts. Legal battle. I'm ready. Because it's like she feels God gave her these songs and this book, and she wants to get it out. And no matter what is protocol or what's the best business sense, she wants to do what she wants to do. Now, I mean, I can kind of roll with her for some reason, in the sense, like, when you have something, you're an artist, you want to share it, you know, give it to the world, especially in the sense that she feels God gave it to her for a tool that could help other people. I get wanting to do that. But on the same token, you are an artist that is part of a label and has management and has all these things and has distributors. And so you have to kind of abide by those laws too, if you want to stay in paid artist and doing well for yourself. So
not to mention it's a family business.
Exactly.
You know, so you messing up the family
dynamic. And that's the thing. It's like
right.
you can't just think of yourself. You're going to mess everybody up.
Right.
So, and whether she, you know, and I think she may know that and may just not care a little bit. So I don't know, but I think it's interesting that I mean, I don't want to say it's not peculiar for me. I felt like even when Warren came back, I was like, it's not going to care. She's not going to care.
Right.
She's going to do what she wants to do.
Right.
And that's it.
Which is, you know, we're all not perfect. We all have something we need to work on. And those are one of those issues that Tina really clearly needs to work on instead of just being like, okay, if they want to have a fight, then let's bring a fight. Sure. But Tina, you can't do that. You got, you know, everybody got bills and family and everything. So. And
my thing too is, this is with Tina, and I kind of got a glimpse of it towards the end of this episode when she was talking to her over the phone, and Erika, and the person I'm talking was Erika, and how Erika's, you know, touring and stuff, doing it with her solo project and what have you, and she has that party and she's tired, and Erika's talking about being, you know, on stage and all the things, and she's like, I want to be there. Because before she was all about the break. I want to take a break. I want a hiatus. You do your solo project. I'm going to build my family. Now she's missing being on the road. Now she's missing the performing and all that stuff because that was an escape for her too, to get away from that. Right. And so I think that a lot of what she's doing with this whole book and new song and new project is because of Erika's success, her sister's success.
You think she's a little jealous?
I wouldn't say jealous. I just think that I think it's more or less she's seen that she's successful in doing it. And so she feels like, well, if she's successful, and obviously she piggybacked off the Mary Mary brand, I can also be successful in doing the same thing.
And the fact that Erika didn't have to wait to do a Mary Mary album, she just went out and did it.
She just went and did it.
So she's thinking the same thing, that I can just go out and do it as well.
I'm just going to do it. Not knowing like, well, actually we need a Mary Mary before you do that based on what Sony wants. Right. So, yeah, so I think if... That's a good point. I don't think if Erika put out a solo project, I think if she never did that, I don't think she would be as gung-ho about doing it. But because because Erika did that, I think she feels like she now can also do it and also be successful and get what she wants out.
I like that. Well, let's ask the audience what they think, our viewers and our fans. What do you guys think? And that's a really good point because I didn't even think of it that way.
That's how I do.
I am so glad you're back.
Come on, son. That's what we do over here.
That's what we do for Mary Mary.
Right.
What do you think? You know, let us know. Tweet us. Facebook us. You know, we're everywhere.
All of that. YouTube,
everywhere. Everything. Let us know what you think.
SoundCloud.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Subscribe to all of that. Get all the juicy stuff.
Do you think there's a little bit of envy, a little bit of jealousy because Erika's successful? Or do you think that she's really trying to listen to the word that God has given her and that she's ready to put it out? It could be a little bit of both.
I think it's a little bit of both.
But a little bit more.
Well, to be so adamant,
her,
because you could easily be like, okay, well, I'm gonna put this together and I can just give it to my family, or I can just give it to my church, or. But she obviously wants to do something major with it. Even if it's on an independent label, she still wants to do something and put a distribution out. She wants to put a project out. So
well, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how she's going to do that.
Yeah,
you know,
I am too.
How that's going to
going to pan out.
Exactly.
So let's go into Teddy and his father-in-law.
Yes.
I mean Tina's father. Excuse me. Yeah, but Teddy's dad. I mean, he hasn't seen him.
Over 20 years. It was like 23 years or something like that.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he just gets a phone call out the clear blue.
I don't know I don't see sometimes with these shows and they have these big reveals with things. I wonder if it's because of the show. I wonder if these things happen. And not just this show. I mean, a lot of reality type shows, you see these, like I said, big reveals, missing family members or coming together or some reconciliation with something. I mean, it makes for good TV. Regardless of the reason, I think it's great that he's come around. I can't imagine not having my father in my life, right? Especially for that long. I mean, he to the point where Tina never even met him,
right?
Ever doesn't even know who he is. Couldn't even pick him in a lineup. Grandkids, you know, their children doesn't even know who he is. Their grandfather. So I was curious to see how that was going to work, and then the fact that his mom was going to be there. And I thought that whole interesting...
That was an interesting dynamic.
That was weird.
But I want to ask you something, and I want to ask the audience. You know when he said that he needed his pain medication?
Yes.
Do you think that he really needed his pain medication, or do you think that, one, he just was ready to go and he was feeling uncomfortable, like Teddy said, or... do you think it was a different type of medication that he was needing and he started to sweat and everything? I was like, I'm kind of getting the vibe from that.
Well, okay. The way they spun on it, it did look like, because of the whole sweating and everything, it looked like it could have been something where he needed some, you know, medication.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's an addiction or something there.
Yes.
Especially because Teddy was like, oh, I'll get it for you. Because if it was prescribed medication, oh, yeah, we'll just get the bottle, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that. He's like, no, 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 I need to get it.
Right.
So it did seem a little suspicious. And it could have been a situation where, and my thinking is that it was kind of a little bit of both. He was feeling uncomfortable because of being there and not knowing anybody and kind of just feeling a little overwhelmed. And as a result of feeling overwhelmed, needed his medication. So that's where I think it really fell into. And so he took him, you know, back to the hotel, you know, which, you know, I think was the best thing to do. I mean, why have him suffer, you know, if you really think about it. You know, oh, no, I'm not going to take you because you really need to, you know what I'm saying? He's an elderly
But, you know,
gentleman,
even Teddy said, I think it was something else.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think he kind of felt it, too.
Well, but you can tell because he was kind of asking. He's like, I'll get it. He's like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. All right, sir. I don't know you that well, but I know what that is. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you guys think? Do you think that it was really him just feeling a little uncomfortable and giving himself an excuse to get out? Or do you think that it was a little something else that he really needed at the house? A little stash somewhere?
Something.
Yeah, it was something suspicious.
I thought it was interesting, though, like the whole, because I don't know if they were ever married. I don't think they really discussed that. And when I say they, talking about Teddy's
parent,
mother and father. But I thought it was interesting, like how, you know, everybody was greeting him. And then, you know, his mother comes and he's like, hey, you know,
hey, baby,
yeah.
hey,
She's
baby.
like, no, my name is Louise. Louise. It's Louise, you remember that? And then he was just kind of like, you know, kind of under his breath, like, hey, you know, you still look good. And, you know, kind of like he was trying to holler at her.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like, you know, it's been 23 years, maybe, you know.
Just a mess.
I don't know. I know. She wasn't having any bit of it, obviously. She was like, no, get away. She like was running almost away from him. So and I think probably some of that is probably, you know, because of how maybe they separated and the fact that he did leave and there's some animosity there and, you know, some hurt feelings. And I think that's really what the core was. And I think he's trying to make amends, but it's very difficult to be gone that long. And anyway, I'm interested to see. I know that story will develop and kind of see what, you know, we find more about that situation.
Yeah, because Tina handled it very well.
I think she did.
Yeah, she handled that very well.
I think she did.
So, Erika and Warren, I really wanted to get on this topic because Erika is working. And I'm loving it. I'm loving a woman that just goes out, gets her grind, her hustle on. Her husband is supportive. Her kids are supportive. But I'm noticing it's taking a toll on her. It's taking a toll on her that she's missing a lot of the family events.
Right.
She's missing a lot of the interaction with her kids and seeing what they're up to.
Right.
So it's hard to find that balance of go out there, pursue your dreams, do what you want to do, but yet still be a mom and a wife.
Right.
But I love the fact that she can call her husband and he's like, all right, babe, you know, just take care, do this, do that. It's not, when you coming home, why you on the road so much, what's happening? I love that.
Right.
I just love it. And we need more of that. Come on, guys.
We do.
Don't be afraid of the woman bringing home the bacon.
Well, I think too, going back to, you know, whole Erika and missing things, I think a lot of that is too when it was her and her sister. Well, first of all, you have instant family. And then, of course, you have Google as their stylist who's there a lot of the times. You would see their mom come with them on the road. You would see Warren there, you know, in a lot of cases if he wasn't doing anything, you know, on his end with his company. So, yeah, it's like there was an entourage of, you know, some kind of family all the time. But that was
Mary Mary, though, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Now that she's a solo artist, she doesn't have that. She doesn't have the backing. You know, financially, she was talking about, you know, when she had to split the whole band and kind of pay him less and, you know, the sound and all the things that were happening which kind of opened the show. And it still worked out, but she had to kind of do more vocally, which is now she's putting the strain on her vocal cords again, which we saw last season was an issue. And the time she talked to Donnie McClurkin and I was like, you better, you know, it happened to me.
Yeah.
You better be careful.
You gotta chill.
And so, you know, but she, you know, she's on 100, you know, like she said, she only has one speed. And I appreciate her drive and her wanting to be successful and almost like treating it as like not resting on the laurels of Mary Mary, but like, I'm a solo artist. I want to make my Erika Campbell brand shine.
Right.
And she's doing it. But yeah, exactly. She's missing family stuff. She's missing, you know, time spent with her husband and just quality time in general. But you can't, you have to, you know, you can't have both, you know.
Well, I want to ask you a question as a man and for the fellas out there, the gentlemen. How would you feel if your woman was on the road a lot and she was just grinding? Would that bother you?
No, because first of all,
and I asked that question in all areas, like, you know, no sex and no kissing, no hugging. I mean, we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. It's not just, oh, she's on the road. It's like, no, everything is affected. There's no grocery shopping, no dinner's not being cooked.
Right.
The kids are late to school. You gotta do their hair, all that.
Oh, I'm a beast. I mean, I got a little sister, so
yeah. Oh, okay.
But no, so to answer your question, for me, if I'm in a committed marriage, and obviously I know my wife, this is what she does. If my wife is an artist and that's what she does and she travels, obviously if she's traveling, she's on the road, that means she's being successful. That means she's reaching her goals as an artist. My job is to support that. I mean, this is what we decided to do in marriage, to support one another. So if that's what she's doing, then I'm going to support that. And I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that happens. Yes, I think it's the give and take when you're in that type of position. I think anybody that is, you know, married to a musician or a singer or an actor who, you know, does movies and stuff and is traveling on the road, it just comes with the territory. You know what you're getting into. So I don't think there's any sense of jealousy or any, I mean, I'm supporting my baby. I want her to be successful.
However, though, what's so good about this situation, because there's, you know, so many different dynamics, is that luckily Warren is my block.
Right.
So, you know, they work together, they see each other.
Sure.
But what if, you know, I'm Erika and you're in the office?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a desk job.
Yeah, you got
exactly.
desk job, or you know, and it's different. So now most of the responsibility falls on you because I'm on the road. Even though you can go to the bank and pull out money, but you still have responsibility. You still got to take the kids to school. You're still not getting any loving. Dinner's still not cooked. Does that change the fact that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna support you, or does it say, oh, this is gonna be a little tough?
No, I mean, you're gonna feel that as a human being. I mean, you're just gonna miss, you know, your loved one, your spouse. I mean, that's just part of who we are, our makeup. But it's not gonna make me want for her to stop, because I don't think that that's going to do her any justice. If I'm pulling on her to be like, no, don't do that, then she's not fulfilling her calling and what she's put on earth to do.
Right.
So I'm not going to stand in the way of that, because otherwise, why even be in that type of relationship? Again, I knew what I was getting into. You know, I mean, if that's how, you know, it was when we got together, which usually it would be. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't. Yes, I'm going to feel lonely at times, and I'm in my bed by myself, and she's not here. Yes, we're humans. But at the same token, I'm just going to make sure the time that we would spend together, you know, when she's here, is going to be, you know, it's going to be special.
Well, I would love to hear from our audience, our viewers, our fans. Are you in a relationship where one is just striving, pursuing their dreams, and you're just there being the support? I want to know how you feel. I want to know about the days that are hard and good, and how you make it work. Because I really want to talk about that and touch upon that next week.
Absolutely.
And really see how some of these couples make their relationship, marriage work when there's one person who's just pursuing their dreams when you're not necessarily pursuing yours for whatever reason, you know, and how you guys get through that. So that'll be interesting to talk about. So, you have anything else you want to say?
Are we gonna talk about the bomb that was dropped at the end?
I am, and I just wanted to make sure that we covered everything else, because I was gonna get to that. But yeah.
I mean, I think we pretty much covered, you know, the scope of it, the show, absolutely, you know, and the key points. I'm really excited, and I don't want to get a prediction yet, but just excited and interested to see how the situation with his father, Teddy's father, develops, because that was such a big deal. Yeah, you know, I mean, to be so long, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm here.
I don't know if we'll see him again. I don't think.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. That's my prediction early, because I really want to get into that bombshell that happened.
Oh, okay.
So we just did predictions. It's okay. We don't need the music. We just did it real quick.
Okay.
Now. That bombshell at the end of the show.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What do you think? You think that it was just a BS story? You think it was some truth to it? Because you know they always say,
right,
where there's smoke, there's smoke, there's fire.
Some element of something.
Right, but they also know the founder and editor of Sister to Sister magazine. Correct. And that she felt a little slighted that she would just go and post without checking facts.
Sure.
What do you think?
I agree with the smoke fire, you know, situation. I think obviously we know that, and it's no secret that he has been unfaithful to his wife multiple times. So that being said, it's not far-fetched in the instance of, it's not like he's never cheated or that's never been brought up. And it's like, oh, you got a baby on the way? Come on, that's not true.
Yeah.
So I think there's some element to it. I don't know. I'm not going to go all the way and say like, yes, he does have a baby on the way. That's true. All, you know, again, if it was something he was privy to, he would have to have brought that up because they've come in their relationship, and Tina forgiving him and all those kind of things and kind of going back and finding out more stuff. And, you know, we saw that last season. So I can't imagine him holding that information. And then, of course, it's going to get out and then have her, you know, go into a spiral
because the fabulous producers are like, okay, we're going to hold that for season 4 and make another storyline with that. You know, and she's going to say, oh, I knew it already.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that he probably was with someone and they had a child, maybe, but it's not his. You know, they're speculating that because maybe he was with whoever that person's, you know, the child's mother is. And they're trying to spin a story like, oh, he was with her. It's his baby. Let's put in a story. But I do think it was messed up. And I'm sure this happens all the time where they knew, like you said, the editor in chief of this magazine, and instead of checking with them, just putting it out there.
Well, you know, a lot of times people don't fact check anymore because they always want to be the first to break a story, which puts them, because that's how TMZ got to be TMZ.
Oh yeah,
they're the first to break any story, and now it's like, oh, I don't see it on TMZ as a credible source, right?
Sure.
Now, my take was I was shocked, but here's the thing: would you tell Tina?
If I'm Teddy?
No, if you're Erika or you're Warren.
Oh,
would you tell your sister
because they found out?
Yes. Would you tell? Would you tell? I mean, I'm asking everybody. Would you tell?
I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like it's something she needs to know because she's going to find out. Like it's out there.
Yeah.
So she's going to find out. So either you tell her and say, "This is coming up. Be ready for it because it's hitting the tabloids or it's in the magazines or whatever," or you just wait for her to find out. I don't think that's healthy because like it's not like she's not going to find out. Obviously, she's repaying her marriage. I wouldn't tell her right before she renews her vows. I know that. Because that would be a sticky situation. Do you see what I'm saying?
But then again, I don't know. I would tell.
Before she renewed her vows? Like you would put it. I don't know.
I would tell.
I don't know.
Let me know, audience. Would you tell? Would you tell before? Now, even if she wasn't getting married, let's just take that out. I would still tell.
Well, yeah.
But now that she's getting married,
I would tell. Yes.
I would still tell.
No,
because
I would
think something that she would know.
No, I would absolutely tell, and she would want to know that it's in there
because I wouldn't want her to know that I knew and didn't tell her.
That's what I'm saying, and that would be even hurtful. Like you knew this and you didn't tell me. I'm just saying, for the sake of her renewing her vows, and this is a special moment, to say something like that right before she does that and then ruin the whole, you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
But the moment's going to be ruined anyway. Because it's, okay, so let me ask you this, and I'm asking everyone, you know, at home as well. Okay, so it's kind of like that situation where your boys get married and you don't tell your best friend what your boy did at the bachelor party because you don't want to, and then he ends up messing it up on her anyway.
Right.
And you're like, dang, I could have saved her life.
But
it hurts.
That's a different situation though, because we're talking about a situation where he has been unfaithful.
But what if he kept that secret? What if okay, let's just say it's true. What if he kept it?
Then that would be his bad.
Exactly.
That's on him.
So you would rather it be her find out and then you just sit back and...
No, I'm just saying that, again, she's going to find out regardless.
You'd rather find out after the wedding?
I just want her to wait until after
I'm trying to stall your pain.
I'm just saying, man. That's the low blow. Like, I know you're about to walk down the aisle, but guess what? Look at what team, they put out.
Well, what if you just want to clear everything up? Let's just clear everything up because you want to start anew. You don't want anything. So when something hits... You've already talked about it. We already in a good, so we can weather that.
What I would do exactly, this is what I would do exactly, is I wouldn't go to Erika. I would go to Teddy. I would say, Teddy, this is out. Is this true? If he says, no, it's not, then it's like, okay, boom, there it is. So then he can then tell his wife, because that is between them, and say, hey, this is out. It's not true. I'm just letting you know, in case you hear about it, because you will. It's not true. Now, if it is true, then again, I would go to him. You need to tell her. Right now.
Okay, so your plan would be go to Teddy.
Go to Teddy,
not to Tina.
No, they all have a relationship with him.
Right.
So go to Teddy and let him know this is out there and say you make it right. Either if it's true, then make it right, or if it's not true, then make sure you clear the air. And then yes, do that before you renew the vows.
Yeah,
but that's on Teddy. But then put it on him.
Put it on him to
Put
tell.
it on him. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I can roll with that
Yeah.
because I'm telling.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think.
tell
Talking
it.
about telling, tell us what you think.
Right.
Would you tell your sister? Would you go to Teddy? How would you handle the situation? And have you been in this situation before? And tell us how you handled it. Because I really want to know. And I'll bring it up next week.
Bring it up.
All right. Well, I think we covered it.
We did.
Right? Mary
There it is.
Mary,
Boom.
episode 2,
Yes.
season 4.
Yes.
All right. Well, tell them where everybody can find you.
Well, you can find me, ladies and gentlemen, all day, every day, social media at The Poet Saint, and that's on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me, Ashida Onrae, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Ashida Onrae on all social media. I keep it all the same.
All the same.
same.
So do I.
All right.
That's how I roll.
Well, I'm so happy that we were able to hang out with you again for
Yes.
another AfterBuzz After Show for Mary Mary. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. See you soon.
All right.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.